Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. So a bit of a different stash ad video. A friend of mine, Clive, he's part of a club. I think he's the groundsman for the club, and another member of the club sadly passed away, and this gentleman was also an avid modeller. So his wife, I think, was left with kits that he obviously hadn't built, and a stash that he hadn't built, and she was looking to move them on. Initially there was a suggestion of a nominal £5 for the kits that you bought, £5 each obviously, and so Clive kindly sent me photos of the kits that were available, and I asked if he could grab certain ones for me. So I think I got 10 kits that I requested. So the first 3 are of this type, the old Airfix 54mm figures. I don't recall ever building one of these and painting one. Obviously they were around when I was a kid, so I thought I would have a go at doing these. So this first one is a French Grenadier of the Imperial Guard. It doesn't look too complicated, a paint job, but we shall see. Next we have an English musketeer from 1642. That's not when it was made, that's the period that the musketeer comes from. Again, quite a nice figure to paint, I think it will be. Although I've just looked at the trousers with the stripes on, so that may be a bit of a challenge. Next we have an American soldier from 1775. I think you get the flag provided in this, which is a bloody good job, because I want to be able to paint something like that. But another interesting period in history. So something a bit different for me. As you know, I don't tend to do 1/35th scale, but it was the subject matter that was of interest. So this is a Model T from the Royal Navy Air Service, I think. Armoured car with World War I British tank crew. So this looked like an interesting kit, and so I asked Clive if he could get this one for me. Another 1/35th kit, which is Model T 1917 ambulance. With US medical personnel this time. Not quite sure what the difference is in uniform, but it may be that the ambulance has only got US markings. I have built one of these in 1/72nd, so I'm keen to build one in 1/35th. Okay, a kit I have never built, even when it was first brought out, the Angel Interceptor from Captain Scarlet. I'm not sure about this kit. I seem to recall people saying that it's a god-awful kit, but if any of you guys have made it up, then please let me know whether that's right or whether it's the opposite and it's a great kit to put together. But I'm really looking forward to having a go at this, so long as it is a good kit. Okay, so another ICM kit, 1/35th scale, and this is a Model T 1914 fire truck with crew. The subject matter just seemed to appeal. Now I can't remember whether this was one that I actually asked Clive to get for me. What happened was I basically sent him my list, and he got most of the ones I wanted, and he took them home so that I could pick them up at some point. But then what happened was the lady, the kits that hadn't sold, she passed them on to me anyway, which was very kind of her. I feel a bit of a mercenary, to be honest, because I haven't given any additional money for the kits, because part of me thinks, well, I didn't want them in the first place, but perhaps I should send some money. I did send the donation for the kits that I did ask for, because I think it was going towards charity for pancreatic cancer. So I do feel a bit of a heel that I haven't sent anything further. So an interesting subject matter, and it'll be interesting to paint those firemen up at some point. Okay, okay, another 1/35 scale kit, and this was one part of the issue really. It's like I'm determined not to build 1/35 because my main love is 1/72, 1/76, and I've been down the road before where I've bought too many 1/35 kits and then lost interest in building them and had to get rid of them. But this one is the Long Range Desert Group Command Car and Breeder 20mm anti-aircraft gun. There's just something about the Long Range Desert Group and the SAS during the Desert War in World War II that very much appeals. Now, a lot of you will be in shock over this one. This is Heller's 1/24 scale Bentley 4.5 litre blower. I'm not a car fan at all, but this is such a beautiful car. It really is. So I'm going to attempt to actually build this, and one day soon, or this year, you may see this on the bench. Of course, it'll be nice to build these kits that the gentleman wasn't able to get around and do himself. Yes, you're not going to believe it, another car. This is Battle of the Marne, 1914, where French taxis were employed to carry French troops to the front line, to basically thwart the German advance. Not sure what car this is. It doesn't actually say that it's what model it is on the box. But yeah, it should be an interesting kit to build. I think it's one of those that Charlie would like to build because he likes the brass era cars. Okay, I'm having to pick the camera up for this one. This is 1/35 scale LCM3, 50-foot landing craft and Jeep with trailer. Now, this was one that I saw and I thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a bash at that. I'm not sure whether you can do this as a British landing craft with the British Jeep, which would be really cool. But it's got to be a bit of a beast when you consider the size of the box, so this will be an interesting one. Okay, so we have Tamiya's 135th US Army Infantry. Interestingly, the sticker on there says Model Zone. So I think this must have been bought some time ago. Model Zone I don't think exist anymore, but they were quite a big model shop and various towns and cities, and I bought loads of stuff from Model Zone. I think they used to quite often have discounts, which I think was one of the attractions of that particular store. So something very different, ICM again, 1/35 scale, but we've got Prussian line infantry from the French-German War of 1870-1871. So the gentleman certainly had varied interests in the models he was wanting to build. Again, I think this, along with the figures I've just shown you and the American infantry, this was this Scammell was one of the kits that the lady passed on to me. I've already got a Scammell tank transporter built in my collection on the shelf. I could always do it in a different colour, or I may pass it on to somebody who will build it as they haven't actually got one themselves. So we've just seen the taxi 1/35 scale with French infantry, and now we've just got French infantry here. So obviously, you know, the situation is that you could create a diorama where you've got French soldiers riding on the taxi and you've got some running along as well. That certainly springs to mind for me anyway. Okay, another one where I'm having to pick up the camera. This is Trumpeter's 1/35 scale LAVAR light armoured vehicle recovery. Not a subject that I'm particularly interested in, but again, one of the models that was passed on to me. So it could be quite an interesting build. We shall see. Something very different for me. Okay, so the next one is the Airfix Club Limited Edition. I don't remember what year this particular limited edition was released. So we've got the Wildcat Mark 6, we've got the Seafire Mark 2C, and we've got the Swordfish Mark 2. I think I recall having this when it came out, because I used to be an Airfix Club member. In fact, I thought I still was, but it would appear my membership has expired. I have nightmares about the swordfish. The swordfish I have on my shelf is the Matchbox one, and the reason for that was I tried to build the new Airfix swordfish and it just did my fruit. The fuselage just would not close around the cockpit, and because I wanted a swordfish in the collection, I just went out and bought a Matchbox one, and it was an absolute delight to build. The Wildcat, I don't know whether that's one of the like 1960, 70 Airfix kits, so that'll be interesting to see if it is, because I would really like to build that if it is that iteration and not a more modern one. The Seafire, I think, is a more modern kit, so, but again, really nice of her to pass this on to me. Not many more left, guys, you'll be pleased to know. In fact, there's just one more, I think, after this one. So we've got the M998 Improvised Explosive Devices gun truck. Again, not a subject I'm interested in, but was kindly passed on to me. So I think we've got the gentleman perhaps looking at using this and the recovery vehicle in a Dio or something. I don't know whether the figures come with this particular kit. And finally, we got the Academy M15182 tow missile launcher. Again, whether the gentleman was going to use this, the gun truck, and the recovery vehicle in a Dio, not certain. And again, not a subject that I'm particularly interested in, but I do like. I was at one point going to build different iterations of the Jeep, if you like, the American Jeep, the SAS one, the standard Jeep that you had in World War II, the Jeep that had stretchers on it, this one, the Vietnam, was it a Mutt? So I was going to do that at one point, but I never got round to it. So yeah. So here they all are. Quite a lot. I don't think I can even get these in the loft. There's no way I can get beyond the hatch at present. There are some large boxes here, but it is my hope that I will get these built, or as I say, pass them on to people who will build them, just so that we can complete them for the gentleman who is no longer with us. Some interesting subjects, most definitely, and as I say, hopefully you'll see these on the bench sometime this year. All right, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. I hope you like looking through those, especially some of the older Airfix stuff like the figures down here, and that Hella Bentley is also quite an interesting one. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you soon.